Welcome to AnimeFan Narrations. Solo Leveling Episode 12, Chapter 63, Part 2.
There's no need for us to fight. We want to avoid unnecessary bloodshed.
What was that?
Jinwoo narrowed his eyes. The boss had behaved like an NPC in a video game, reverting to scripted lines after straying from the dialogue.
Hand over the humans behind you and we'll let you leave here alive. What do you say? Do you accept our offer?
The boss's face betrayed no hint of the oddity, maintaining its casual smile. The White Walkers behind him also remained indifferent. Jinwoo silently assessed the situation, prompting the boss to push further.
Well, do you accept?
Jinwoo wanted to learn more about the magic beasts and their intentions, but realized it was pointless.
In that case,
There was only one option left. His decision had been made long ago.
I refuse.
A grin spread across Jinwoo's face.
you've got such a tempting shadow, I can't just let you go.
He planned to defeat the boss and claim its shadow. From the moment he saw that long hair, this had been his intention.
You plan to take on me and my troops? Do you believe you can handle our numbers?
Jinwoo's grin widened. Troops?
You think you're the only one with an army? Shadow soldiers?
Obeying his command, the soldiers hidden within Jinwoo's shadow emerged behind him. A scream echoed from the hunter's side again. Yoon-gi-jung, upon seeing the shadow beast, the shadow of an ice bear, fell back in fear. Jinwoo glanced at his teammates' terrified faces and felt a twinge of guilt, but there was no time for explanations in such a critical moment.
Not that I'd bother explaining even if it was safe.
29 shadow soldiers stood behind Jinwoo. Positioning himself at their forefront, he smirked at the boss.
So whose numbers are overwhelming now?
The boss finally showed signs of hostility.
You rely on mere tricks. Very well, I will grant your wish for death.
The boss drew the two tantos at its side. Jinwoo mirrored the action, wielding Night Killer in his right hand and Kasaka's poisoned fang in his left.
A mere trick?
Jinwoo didn't completely disagree. Though the Shadow Army had the numerical advantage, he knew their collective strength was inferior to the boss. He understood the source of the boss's confidence. He needed a strong ally.
If I need a powerful reinforcement?
He knew just the right candidate. Jinwoo quickly looked to his side. Cheol remained unconscious nearby.
Attack!
At the boss's command, the White Walkers drew their bows.
Bears.
Jinwoo called the Shadow Beasts to the front. The arrow-struck Shadow Beasts roared in pain. Before the White Walkers could fire another volley, the Shadow Infantry charged forward. The Shadow Mages also began their spell casting. Jinwoo's eyes blazed with determination.
You're my target.
Before advancing, Jinwoo kicked Cheol's sword over to the unconscious hunter. His focus locked onto the boss, who met his gaze. Their 4 daggers clashed, sending sparks flying. Around them, the Shadow Soldiers and White Walkers were locked in fierce combat. Go Myung-hwan glanced at Park Hee-jin.
Should we help?
She shook her head.
This isn't our battle.
It was a chaotic scene with giant black monsters swinging their claws, regenerating black soldiers, and high-level magic beasts attacking relentlessly with swords and arrows.
What can we, a B ranker and 2 C rankers, do here?
All they could do was hope for the best. Park Hee-jin watched intently as Jinwoo battled the long-haired White Walker. A cry escaped Jinwoo's lips. This was truly the boss of a high-level dungeon. To an onlooker, it might seem like they were equally matched, but Jinwoo was gradually being overwhelmed. New cuts appeared all over his body. Could he last another 3 minutes? Even as he fought, regenerating his army continued to drain his mana. The Shadow Mages had completed their spell. A fireball larger than a volleyball landed amidst the White Walkers. The sound of the explosion was a testament to the power of the leveled-up mages. The deafening noise roused Cheol. He lifted his head. Through his hazy vision, he saw terrifying White Walkers clashing with unfamiliar black soldiers.
What the hell is this?
He didn't understand what was happening, but he remembered why he was on the ground. The hand that struck the back of his head, that voice he heard as he fell.
It was Sung Jinwoo.
As consciousness returned, the humiliation and rage made his hands shake. He reached for his sword, conveniently beside him. Surrounded by White Walkers, they were all as good as dead. At the very least,
Sung Jinwoo, I'll kill that bastard before I die.
his furious eyes locked onto Jinwoo's back.
Found him!
Jinwoo was fighting a White Walker, his back exposed. This was his chance. Cheol sprang to his feet and charged. Sensing the powerful reinforcement rushing toward him, Jinwoo celebrated internally.
Yes, if it's you.
Jinwoo had faith in Cheol. Cheol reached Jinwoo and swung his sword with all his might, aiming for the E-rank hunter's neck.
Die!
The boss in front, Cheol behind. Caught between a rock and a hard place, Jinwoo called out.
Ygritte.
As if on cue, Ygritte emerged from Jinwoo's shadow and blocked Cheol's sword.
What?
Cheol's eyes widened in shock, his bloodshot whites clearly visible. Before he could react, Ygritte's sword plunged deeply into the A-ranker's chest. The blade pierced through the muscular man and protruded from his back. Jinwoo swiftly retreated from the boss.
Yes, I trusted you, Kim Cheol. I knew this is exactly how you'd respond.
A fool driven by emotions, not foresight. In a short time, Jinwoo had fully grasped Kim Cheol's nature. Kim Cheol glared at Jinwoo.
You...
And those were his final words. While Ygritte kept the boss occupied, Jinwoo stood over Kim Cheol's body.
Arise.
A familiar deep scream echoed from somewhere. With it, a giant hand emerged from Kim Cheol's shadow.
Solo Leveling, Chapter 64, Part 1.
You've succeeded in shadow extraction.
Yes.
Jinwoo's fists clenched in triumph. The solution to winning this battle was like a puzzle, and the final piece just fell into place. From Kim Cheol's shadow emerged a formidable black knight, larger and more imposing than the original. One hand gripped a massive hammer, while the other held a shield as big as a person. The knight exuded a menacing aura.
Wow, Kim Cheol was strong, but this guy is something else.
Despite the tension, Jinwoo couldn't help but be impressed.
Please choose a name for the soldier.
Right, a name.
Jinwoo glanced quickly to the side. Ygritte was struggling against the boss. His regeneration ability was the only thing keeping him in the fight. One of Ygritte's arms was severed.
Damn, I need to hurry.
A name. Should he use the man's name? Jinwoo shook his head. No, it felt wrong to use a human's name for an undead form.
Wait, Kim Cheol? Cheol means iron, so iron?
He chose the name. As soon as he decided, the new shadow received its name.
Iron, level 1, Knight grade.
Knight grade. It was the same as Ygritte, but now wasn't the time to celebrate.
No time to waste.
Jinwoo nodded towards the boss.
Iron!
Iron moved his massive body and stepped forward. Despite its immense power, the massive figure didn't seem like it could match the agility of the nimble boss. But then, Iron surprised Jinwoo. The towering knight puffed out its chest and let out a thunderous roar.
What?
A message popped up in front of the bewildered Jinwoo.
Iron has used taunting shout. The boss has been taunted.
A taunt skill.
Kim Cheol was an A-rank tanker, and true to form, he possessed a strong aggro management ability. Iron, his shadow, flawlessly replicated this skill. The boss's focus snapped to the giant knight. Abandoning Ygritte, whom it could have easily finished off, the boss charged at Iron like it was bewitched. Iron then used Strengthen to withstand the boss's onslaught.
Nice work.
Jinwoo nodded in approval. Meanwhile, Ygritte's arm regenerated. Black smoke seeped from the wound, reforming into the knight's arm. With the boss still fixated on Iron, Jinwoo and Ygritte launched their combined attack. Park Hee-jin was speechless. The scene unfolding in front of her was beyond comprehension. She was too overwhelmed to even be curious anymore. Beside her, Han Song-yi asked in a trembling voice.
Uni,
It took Park Hee-jin a moment to reply.
Huh?
are all hunters fights like this?
The girl's voice was shaking with fear. Park Hee-jin's response was a bit terse.
If that were the case, do you think I would have gotten my license?
Go Myung-hwan, looking dazed, muttered.
Are we dreaming?
If this was a dream, it was a nightmare for sure. Park Hee-jin could only gape as she watched the magic beasts battle against something shrouded in darkness. Simultaneously, a worry crept into her mind.
Once we escape, we're definitely...
As survivors, they'd face thorough questioning and scrutiny. How could she possibly explain all of this? Considering what Sung Jinwoo had shown them here, she couldn't begin to imagine how the higher-ups would react. She shared her thoughts with the other hunters.
But you know,
Trembling while sitting on the ground, Yoon Gi-jung finally spoke up with difficulty.
the fact that we're thinking about what to do once we get out, isn't that something?
The team nodded together. They were in a high-level dungeon, and a red gate at that. When Kim Cheol abandoned them, they had only feared death. But now, they were worrying about the outside, as if surviving was a given. This was all thanks to one man. Park Hee-jin turned her gaze to Jinwoo.
Sung Jinwoo, see you.
Her awe surpassed her gratitude and amazement. Kasaka's poisoned fang struck the boss's shoulder.
Paralysis has been inflicted. The target's resistance was too high. Effect cancelled. Bleeding has been inflicted. The target's resistance was too high. Effect cancelled.
Recently, his opponents had become much stronger, so Kasaka's poisoned fang's special effects rarely worked. Still, inflicting a wound was good enough.
Good.
As more injuries appeared on the boss, its movements began to slow. The Ice Elf's smile had long since vanished. Having faced Jinwoo, Ygritte, and Iron alone, it was now panting heavily.
Just a little more.
Suddenly, Iron managed to wrap the boss in a powerful bear hug.
Now!
At Jinwoo's command, both he and Ygritte moved back. The boss's eyes widened in surprise.
What are you...
Completed spells from the Shadow Mages rained down on Iron. For the first time, the boss showed signs of pain. The Ice Elf twisted, breaking free as Iron's arms were blown off. The boss shot a venomous glare at Jinwoo. Jinwoo was amazed at the boss's resilience.
Even after all that damage, he still has this much power.
It was truly fitting for a high-level dungeon boss. However, the tide of battle had already turned in Jinwoo's favor.
Thanks for watching Solo Leveling on AnimeFan Narrations. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.